Today is December 3rd, and it is day 58 since the war between Israel, Hamas, and Hezbollah has begun. Let's take a first-hand look into what Israelis are reading this morning in newspapers. Israel Hayom reads, Bimlo ha'otzma, in full force. Since the renewal of the war in the Gaza Strip, more than 400 targets were demolished. And the Chief of Staff says that we are focused on creating the terms or the conditions so that more hostages or all of the hostages will come back. And in Yedidot Achronot it says, on the way to the stronghold of terror, and they mean Khan Yunis. They say the next step is the city Khan Yunis in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. That's where the seniors of Hamas are staying. The ceasefire came to an end last week by Hamas, we know. 136 hostages are still in the hands of Hamas. We see here the might of the brigade commander, Asaf Hamimi, that yesterday was officially announced that he was killed on October 7th. They say he was a great hero. He's one of the first ones that engaged into battle on October 7th. And here in this photograph, we see Mia and her mother and her dog Bella that were released a few days ago from Hamas. And it says, Shabbat Rishona Babayit, the first Shabbat at home. Let's take a look into the first article. It reads, Dilemmat Khan Yunis, the Khan Yunis dilemma. And here we see an explosion in the photograph in the Gaza Strip yesterday. And the IDF is going into Khan Yunis. It is a major city in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. There is a dilemma, though, because it's not certain that this hard hit will bring to the victory. And of course, there's still so many more hostages that need to be coming home. And the ones who are home need to go through rehabilitation and healing. Here on the left, there's an opinion article of Giora Island about the approach of America towards the continued fighting in Gaza. Giora Island, the author, is a retired Major General of the Israel Defense Forces and a former head of the Israel National Security Council. And he states that America is asking Israel to fight Hamas as they fought ISIS. But he says that is irrelevant and almost unmoral, because ISIS were these wild men fighting with Kalashnikovs on the streets, but Hamas is completely different, and they are very much fortified in Gaza. And he says the historical example that's the closest to the situation between Israel and Hamas is the American fighting in 1945 to take over Ukraine near Japan. And the Japanese were fighting fiercely in bunkers and in tunnels. They used civilians as human shields, and that's why more than 100,000 civilians were killed by American fire. When that battle was finished after about 3 months, with 50,000 casualties on the American side, Truman, the president of the United States, then said, no more. I will not risk the lives of our American soldiers anymore. And from then to the attack of the atomic bomb was short. Moreover, America is asking us to continue to provide aid and fuel to Gaza while we want to bring the hostages back and to create such a pressure on Hamas that they have to bring the hostages back. So obviously, Giora Island is critical towards the approach of the American government right now towards Israel and the fighting, and it is insightful. The next headline reads, Bizchutchem ani kan, because of you I'm here, thanks to you I'm here, but now we have to bring back my son. And these are about the hostages that have returned, but some of their family members are still in Gaza, and the families are remaining to be broken. The next article is about Asaf Hamimi, the brigade commander. It reads, Hu yatsa rishon l'krav, he left first towards the battle, and he did not come back, velo chazar. Asaf Hamimi, 40 years old, he was the highest ranked soldier that was killed since this war begun. It reads that this is a heroic story of an excellent commander that fought bravely and mightily to protect his soldiers and the villages around Gaza until his last day. The next headline reads, Retzach b'shevi Hamas, murder in the captivity of Hamas. And we see 6 captives that were announced dead. They were murdered in captivity, and their families got the announcement during the weekend. Their bodies are still held by Hamas. The next article is about anti-Semitism in Europe, and it reads, Ha'antisemiyut besi'ah, the anti-Semitism is at its peak. Barcelona has turned into a non-safe place for Jews and Israelis. And the mayor of Paris says, I don't know if Jews have any future here in France. And a representative of Barcelona says that the Zionism has turned into a devil. And on a positive note, we read here, Kama tov shebanu habaita, how good it is that you all came home. And here are pictures of some of the hostages that were released with their families. And we can see here Yagel Yaakov, he's 12, and Clara Merman, she's 63 with her family. And Mia Shem, she's 21 with her family over the weekend. Ohan Munder, he's 9, playing in the living room with his sisters. And Noga Weiss with her girlfriend. Amit Susna, she's 40 years old with her dog. And Amit Shani, the 16-year-old boy. In the last page, there's a daily segment of the hostages reading Chatufim, hostages. And the hostage is Or Levi, he's 33 years old from Givatayim. And his brother Tal Levi is holding his picture and he's asking Israel to bring back his brother and all of the other hostages that are left. So these are the major headlines today on Sunday in Israel. For more stories, go to All Israel News and follow us on social media and YouTube. This is Rotem Magen for All Israel News.